Bad brothers, baby.
Face breakdown. Happy
Welcome
New
back.
Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Welcome to the show. It's the Bad Brothers with the Babyface Breakdown. I am Bush Dingo, the Luchador.
And I am Big Bubba Brogdon.
Yeah. So New Year 2023. 2022 is pretty interesting.
Yep. The rise of the machines never happened.
It's it's well on its way.
Yeah. I mean, that was the year for Terminator, right? Was 2022 for the day. That was the time period where they sent back what's his name?
John Connor.
John Connor was the is the kid.
Oh yeah. I guess was it the T-800? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, and the other guy to save reality and get the kid born.
Yeah, it was 2029, I think.
Was it 2029?
Yeah, I think so. So we still got a few years.
I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile.
Oh, it was 1997 is when Judgment happened. But yeah, 1929. Yeah, you were right.
2029.
Yeah, so we got some time.
Yeah.
There's no need to worry. Robots will never take over the world.
Yeah, we didn't do a show last week because it was Christmas. Why would we do a show on Christmas? Spend time with your families.
Yep. Yeah, it was,
We don't
pretty-
do it on New Year.
pretty good Christmas.
Yeah.
Went-
Spend time with the loved ones.
Yeah, it went by super fast.
Not really for me. I spent 8 days in Tennessee.
Ugh.
I'm a little mad though in Tennessee. We went to Tennessee and I found out the day before we were leaving. You're gonna get a kick out of this. In Tennessee, where we were at was the home of micro wrestling.
Nice. And no, you
We
didn't get
didn't
to
go to a show.
for taking a show.
Yeah, we couldn't get to a show.
Man.
And
What a
I
bummer.
would have loved to have seen it.
Yeah, I gotta catch one of those shows at some point too. I've seen the little people wrestle before, but never like a full on, show.
Show without him, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said a lot about little people wrestling already, so
Yeah, probably too much.
probably not enough.
Yeah, let's we'll leave Marco Stunt alone.
Not only Marco Stunt, but all of the mini wrestler community.
Yeah, you get your Marco Stunts and your Adam Coles. Yeah, the little people.
Well, Adam Cole's more little people muscle-wise, so.
He's in that class. He's little people.
Well, he's taller than I am.
Yeah, you might be a little people.
5'10" is the actual. 5'10" is the height, the average American height, all right?
Yeah, I think it works a little bit differently in wrestling. So in wrestling, you would be classified a little people.
I wouldn't, maybe. I don't know. I'm definitely too big for the 205 live division.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. So did you said you spent 8 days in Tennessee. Did you get to watch any wrestling?
I did. Got to watch some SmackDown. Who invited you? Who said you could say anything, Bama Pickin?
Yeah. See, I was right. You're little people.
No. No. No, I refuse. I am not little people. I am big people.
Well, little people can be big.
You're right. There's Danny DeVito.
Right. That's definitely some little people.
Listen, just because I ain't above 6 foot doesn't mean I'm short, all right? We have this talk every day in the house, Bama. So is the little demon on the other side of this wall. I'm not short. We're off topic already.
I don't think we were on yet.
I wanted to be on topic. But yes, I watched NXT, I watched AEW Dynamite, and I watched SmackDown.
All right. Yeah, I watched some AEW. I think I watched an episode of NXT. Can't really. I mean, honestly, it's pretty. A lot of the actual shows were pretty lackluster over the past couple weeks. It's probably going to be
on Raw.
Yeah, you might have to help me remember some of the stuff that actually went down, because a lot of it I didn't take notes, and a lot of it's just kind of just not memorable. I know. I think is it Ethan Page and Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson? Sorry, had a match on Dynamite that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people said that it was a great match. I agree. It was really good.
Yeah. I as soon as I saw that, I thought it was, had the potential to be pretty good. It wasn't, wasn't fantastic. It wasn't a match for the ages or anything, but it was definitely good.
Yeah.
I like both of those guys. So, yeah, trying to think of what else. I know Samoa Joe and Wardlow. That was a fairly decent match. Little frustrated though with kind of, I don't know. On the one hand, it's like Samoa Joe is very well established and he's quite the beast, living legend. Like a great. He did become great in other companies other than AEW. So putting him up against Wardlow, who, it looked like AEW was really building him up to be a new star for them. They seem to have kind of dropped the ball with him recently. In my opinion, some of the booking has not been great. Some of the decisions have not been great. Yeah. So, on the one hand, I don't know how well, it really helps Wardlow to have him lose to Samoa Joe. Though I do ultimately think that's probably the best call. Because Samoa Joe, like I said, well established, should have came out on top. So I don't know. I was happy to see that, and then they just kind of ruined it with having Darby Allin come out and run Samoa Joe off.
I was gonna say, love Darby, but he doesn't need to be in the title picture. Especially since I liked what they were doing with Wardlow and Joe. I think they should build up towards a Wardlow and Joe Part 3.
Oh, sure. I mean, that could should and could keep going. My gripe with it is something that we've touched on before, in terms of Jungle Boy and Hook, Darby Allin's a pretty small guy. He might be a little people. I'm not sure.
You need to get your definitions of little people right.
Yeah, we need to find like an official definition. But you have Samoa Joe, who's huge, humongous mountain of a man, and pretty deadly. He just beat Wardlow, who is also a mountain of a man, a huge guy. And then little tiny Darby Allin comes out and runs him off. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Not really sure why Samoa Joe is tucking his tail and running from Darby Allin. So
Yeah.
that was a little frustrating. Speaking of Darby Allin, it looks like the Darby Allin Sting relationship is a little bit on the rocks. Seems like that might have run its course, and they might be, splitting those two up.
Well, hopefully that does happen. I have been wanting that to happen for a while now, for them just to split.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never really cared for the association to begin with. It really just seemed like, hey, these two guys paint their face. Let's put them together,
Hey, they do the same color pattern.
Yeah, I mean, it made for some interesting moments. I mean, the face paint of having them both kind of do each other's face paint, half and then half their own face paint. That was pretty cool. Though the CM Punk Sting face paint swap was pretty lame. I did not like that. I thought that was kind of bad. But yeah, Sting and Darby seem to be kind of going their separate ways. I hope. I mean, it could just be some friction and they resolve their differences. But
It's AEW.
Yeah, so who knows? Who knows what's going on?
They've done that before, where there's tension between a faction or a team, and it gets resolved quickly or it dissolves. So,
I mean, likewise on that, kind of what I was just talking about with Samoa Joe running from Darby Allin. There was another moment that was similarly frustrating. It was, I guess, Ricky Starks. He was asked to join the Jericho Appreciation Society. He, of course, declined that. And so you have JAS in 2.0, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara come out to the ring and gang up on Ricky Starks. So you got four guys. Jericho's wielding a baseball bat. So you got four guys, one of them with a baseball bat, beating up on Ricky Starks. This new guy that they're trying to build into a star, apparently, Action Andretti, comes out, runs them off for the save. So again, doesn't really, I don't know why four guys with a baseball bat would run from two guys, especially when those two guys are Action Andretti and Ricky Starks, who are, not the biggest, most intimidating guys on the roster.
I was going to say, it's not that it's a people versus a single person situation where they use weapons, because we've had that same similarity happen before with a group of people against The Undertaker or Kane by themselves.
Yeah.
It's that they don't establish dominance.
Yeah.
They don't look the part. They don't act the part. They ain't giants. They aren't the badasses. So for us, that doesn't feel like that should,
Yeah, I mean, you should have had a couple of other guys, maybe run out with Action Andretti. They don't have to be a faction per se. It could be, Combat Club, who just had some beef with JAS. Could have had two of those guys.
Top Flight would have been great as well.
Yeah. Have them come out and kind of, then it's 4-on-4. I would have I wouldn't have batted an eye at that. But I'm sitting there watching that happen, and I'm still just confused as to why your 4 guys are with a baseball bat are running away from your 2 guys. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Jericho did throw a fireball in Action Andretti's face, which I enjoy the fireball. It's a fun little spot, but they always kind of play it up to be some big bad thing, and then Action Andretti gets hit with a fireball, and then a week later he's fine.
I was going to say they did the same thing with Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss. Fireball, bang. His face looks a little burned, has a little mask on. Next week he's fine.
Yeah, I think there was a spot a while back where Moxley got hit in the eye with something, and he wore an eye patch for like weeks.
Oh yeah, that was with Ortiz.
Yeah, I don't remember what exactly went down, but I was pretty pleased with the fact that Moxley wore an eye patch for several weeks. Man, he really played that up.
I don't know if it was like a corkscrew.
Yeah, I don't exactly recall.
I do like the Moxley eye patch stuff though. That I remember. And then he takes the eye patch off during like his match with Jericho to show that there's a scar and it's more fully healed and he can see correctly, and then beats Jericho.
Yeah. I mean that's that's what should be happening in wrestling, man. If you want me to believe this stuff, or at least make it easier for me to suspend disbelief, But yeah, likewise, some of these guys get injured and then a week later they're fine, and it just doesn't. You've got Pac. Now you do see it when people are legitimately injured and then continue to wrestle. I think Pac really did break his nose, and is still wrestling with a broken nose, but he's wearing the face mask.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, they stabbed John Moxley in the eye with a pin.
Okay. I don't know why I don't remember that, but
yeah, I'm looking at it right now. And then Moxley then got back later at JAS and stabbed Santana, not Ortiz, in the eye with a pin.
That's right. Yeah, eye for an eye.
Yep, eye for an eye. Austin. Yep. That was early AEW.
Yeah. No, I don't really remember much else from the shows. I did see that Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello got stripped of the AAA mixed tag team titles. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. That happened?
Yeah, they were supposed to defend the titles at a AAA show and did Dynamite instead. So they just straight up no-showed their title defense. So AAA stripped them of the championship.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I don't. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I don't know why. It'd be one thing if they were wrestling a AEW pay-per-view, but it was just an episode of Dynamite where I don't think anything of any real significance happened with either of them. And it, AAA, from what I've read, the AAA staff are pretty peeved about it. So, I mean, it is AAA. I don't know, I don't know how Tony Khan or the AEW crew really, how they view AAA, but it doesn't seem like a good move to be burning that bridge,
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that might be the case, because the AAA championships, the tag team championships, have been on FTR for a while, and FTR have been carrying them on AEW, and
Well, they were on FTR.
Right, right, up until recently, but it seems like that might have caused some bad blood between the companies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon Lee.
For those that you don't know and those that are watching, and if this is your first time finding out, Rush's brother, Dragon Lee, one half the new AAA Tag Team Champions, has been signed to WWE.
Yeah, that was pretty big news. Did not see that coming. He, from what I read, he wasn't even on WWE's radar until his showing on AEW recently. He wrestled a couple matches for AEW, and apparently that rumor has it that is what caught WWE's attention. So AEW was offering him a contract, and WWE out of nowhere came in and offered him a contract for less money than what AEW was offering, and he took it. So I think something that a lot of people don't really understand about things like that is, the money's not everything for some people. I'm sure WWE is going to be paying him a lot of money. Yeah. And for a lot of people, WWE is the childhood dream. It's the place to be. And I think with his family in Roosh and what's his other brother?
They just didn't they do a show in Ring of Honor?
Yeah, Dracula or something like that. I think them being in AEW, if Dragon Lee goes to WWE and finds that he's unhappy, he doesn't have to renew his contract, and then he's got an easy in with AEW, being that his two brothers work there. So I think it was a good move on his part, and I could see Dragon Lee getting over in WWE. I don't know what his English is like, but he's got a good look. He's got a good name. Yeah, dude can wrestle, and he's got a good style that, I don't know, seems to be WWE seems to be lacking in the lucha libre department.
The other brother's name is Dralistico.
Dralistico, yeah, I knew it was something like that. I'm not quite as familiar with him, but he, as we stated before, he was the original Dragon Lee, and he passed that on to the current Dragon Lee, who I believe is the youngest of the three brothers.
Actually, if you look at Dralistico's masks and look, they're very similar to Sin Cara's.
Yeah.
Like, super similar.
Yeah. And there's probably some explanation for that. There's probably some relationship there as well.
It's not he's not Sin Cara, but these masks are very similar. So
yeah,
it's got me thinking.
Sin Cara is Kalistico now, if I'm not mistaken.
Kalistico.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen Sin Cara wrestling or anything since leaving WWE.
It's Mystico.
Mystico.
Yeah. Mystico was the I don't know, and that's even a little bit confusing as well, because Sin Cara there's been two different Sin Caras in WWE. So two different people wore that mask.
That's crazy. That's actually very that's crazy to me. I totally forgot about the whole double Sin Cara incident. The mask for a mask.
Yeah, so it's Caristico. So it's Caristico and Mystico.
Huh. It's interesting. There's I guess those mean something in Spanish.
Yeah. Mystico in Spanish means mystic.
And I'm guessing Drilistico is like dragon.
I think Drago is dragon, but
They just sound so similar, man. I was thinking, you know what? That's not very unique. They need to start renaming stuff a little bit. Name stuff a little bit better. I'm like, yeah, you know what? They might just mean something in their language and it just sounds similar. So
Mystico and Caristico are the same wrestler. Same guy.
So it is Sin Cara.
So yeah, he was Mystico before WWE. He became Sin Cara in WWE, and whenever he left WWE, he became Caristico. Then he changed his name back to Mystico. So for anybody that cares or can keep up with that.
For anyone that was confused.
Now you're even more confused.
Yeah. Well, we should probably get into the news. Because we got to cover 2 weeks of news.
Yep, and I know there's some news. I didn't take notes like I should have, so probably gonna miss something.
Wow. I do have the site pulled up so I can, look at all these results and see the show and see what happened.
Okay. Did you hear about AJ Styles?
Yes, I think you showed me that where he was injured in a live event.
Yeah, broken ankle.
It sucks.
Yeah,
sucks.
Not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Hate it for him.
We did, however, get some returns before the new year happened. And some shocking things. Well, I'd say shocking, but also some very similar things from the Attitude Era that are happening right now. I guess I'll start off with Judgment Day and Street Profits. This is Raw, December 19th. After our show, December 18th. So we're just going to go in order, or we can go by show of each week, which technically there wasn't a Raw for last week because it was just highlights of the year.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, whatever works.
So I guess we'll start off with Street Profits and Judgment Day. End up with Street Profits getting the win with Akira Tozawa getting a distraction in and spitting in the face of Dominic Mysterio. And because Dominic's like, I'm blind. So you had that. But then after the match, Rhea Ripley came down the aisle to attack Akira Tozawa and challenged him to a one-on-one match, a mixed gender match.
Yeah,
What does that sound like to you?
Oh yeah, I mean, and we've made the comparisons before, to China, and talked about WWE's reluctance to really do the intergender wrestling. I mean, China's really the only person that I can think of in WWE in at least somewhat recent history where she was able to have matches against men. And I think Rhea Ripley's, I guess it was several weeks ago whenever she body slammed, was it Carl Anderson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think I think if anybody can kind of fill that spot, it's Rhea Ripley.
Is Rhea Ripley. Yeah.
She's,
I can think of a few women's wrestlers that can fight men's wrestlers and can hold up. Powerhouses such as Rhea Ripley, Tamina. Sometime if Nia Jax was there, but thank God she isn't, would have been in that category. Or just strikers like Rousey, Baszler, and Asuka.
Right. But yeah, I mean, you don't ever really see WWE play with that in terms of having a match. Now, you might have moments where,
Well, I remember they did in the past, but the only mixed matches that I've ever seen always had James Ellsworth in them. An easy guy that the girls could beat.
Oh, that's yeah.
Or Reggie. I remember Reggie getting a match.
Huh.
Scripps.
Right.
So, I do remember a few moments of the new era where they forced matches for male and to female wrestlers. Yep.
Yeah. Not a huge fan of the intergender stuff.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I don't care.
Typically, when WWE does the mixed tag matches, they're very strict on when a guy is tagged in, then the other team has to tag in the guy. It's not like a true tag team match, which is not really. I mean, I don't necessarily want to see intergender wrestling, but at the same time, I don't really want to see a tag team match like that, because it's not. I don't know. It's not.
John is right. Beth Phoenix too.
Okay.
So, hey John, how you doing? But yeah, I get that. Again, I'm fine with mixed gender things. Just don't put a title for mixed gender stuff. Just don't put a whole championship division for the mixed gender stuff.
Yeah, like AAA has.
Yeah, because that can get weird and frustrating, and you'll just have mixed gender tag teams that will just be in the tag team division.
No, I mean, I think the ladies should just stick to being valets, being eye candy.
Hey now.
We've already established that most women wrestlers are not any good.
Some are.
Yeah, it's some. There's exceptions to the rule.
Female wrestlers are actually good at wrestling. Now, hold on.
There's a few.
I mean, Kairi Sane is pretty good. She's the Japanese women's champion over there.
Yeah, Kairi Sane is pretty awesome. But even the best women's wrestlers, I think, I think overall, women's wrestling, it's if you gave me the option of strictly valets versus any kind of women, I put them all as valets.
She's
Well, we all have those great women's, but the queen is apparently above all of them.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, Charlotte Flair is pretty great. She just made her triumphant return, and it's really interesting seeing people, internet wrestling fans.
I was gonna say, the first thing when I saw it, I waited like 2 hours, and then I got on social media,
Yeah.
and it's just post of Charlotte hate.
Which is crazy because those same people, 2.5 hours prior to that, were probably online griping and complaining about how awful Ronda Rousey is as a champion and how they wish somebody would, somebody else, anybody, give me anybody, take the title off of her and hate Ronda Rousey, and then you get what you want, but you're still not happy,
It's like, I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. It's like, give me any women's champion except for her.
But I don't really understand the Charlotte hate, honestly. I mean, is Charlotte my favorite women's wrestler? No. But is she one of the best to ever do it? Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think anybody who's being honest, who knows anything about wrestling would say otherwise.
Yeah. I think it's kind of interesting, though, because they brought her in very close to the Rumble, and then to win the title.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, this is all just rumor, I don't know how to really verify anything that I read on the internet ever, but, rumor has it that WWE wanted Becky versus Rousey, and apparently there's some real life heat between Rousey and Becky, and Rousey was refusing to work with her. That's what I read. So Charlotte was brought in to, basically take the title off Rousey and work with Becky. So
probably for the best, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know anything further as far as like what they might have. That's the first time I've heard anything about any beef with Rousey and Becky.
Or they do bring in the Becky and Charlotte stuff, but Seth gets involved, and then WWE brings in Andrade.
Maybe. He's I guess Andrade is kind of on the shelf right now, out unhappy with AEW is what I'm hearing. So I mean that could be possible. I'd rather see, honestly, probably unpopular opinion, but rather than bring in Andrade, I'd rather see Ric Flair come back. Ric Flair. I mean, just think about it. I'm not necessarily saying to in-ring action, but think about the interaction.
What he's going to want to do, though.
Of course. But I mean, Rick's last match that took place this past year.
Last match,
right? It wasn't bad, man. He did. I mean, was it even close to being his best match? No. But it was much better than I thought it was going to be. He could actually still, go fairly well for his age. But think of the interaction between Ric Flair and Seth Rollins. I think that could make some golden moments, man.
I think Rollins would just come out in like a Flair full-on robe.
Yeah.
Just to kind of mock.
Yeah.
Thank God, and Rousey also doesn't like to do the job ever. She's very toxic in that aspect. You know what? You might not be wrong, John.
Yeah, it's believable. I know. I don't know. Some of my gripes with Rousey. I liked Rousey when she first came in. I was a fan of her UFC days, and I thought she took to wrestling pretty well, pretty quickly.
I thought her WrestleMania 34 match was actually a really good debut.
Yeah, that's one of the better debuts, honestly. But I got turned off really quickly to seeing her kind of shoot, and I don't know if it was like a work shoot, but just her opinions on wrestling fans, her opinions on the business, kind of a general disrespect, for the business and for the fans.
I got turned off on her. Like, I stopped caring about her right as WrestleMania 35 rolled around.
Yeah, why is that?
Just because of the whole. We already knew the outcome of the thing was going to happen in the main event. We knew that Becky was going to win, first of all. Second of all, the whole main event was kind of botched in many ways, the finish even. And thirdly, she didn't take it well.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was poking fun, how you botched this, you botched that. And she couldn't keep her anger in.
Yeah.
She doesn't like criticism, so.
That sounds like her.
If you can't keep criticism, if you can't keep your cool around criticism, around people that are just going to, react, review, watch what you do, because this is sports entertainment. You're going to sometimes make some mistakes. It's a live event. It's not taped. You're going to make some flops and mistakes and be a little sloppy. There's a lot of tension going around. If you can't handle the crowd or the fans' toxicity or their comments or their own opinions on how you are and in the ring or how you are on promos or how you just don't need to be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, wrestling is the last business you need to be in if you've got soft, thin skin like that.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you do and you still want to be in the business, that's fine. Just stay off social media. Like, why would you have a Twitter account? Why would you go online and subject yourself to that?
Yeah, she hasn't really improved on wrestling ability. She has MMA background and she has BJJ background.
Yeah, I mean,
that's enough, but it's not enough.
I would agree that I think her debut was up here. Everything since has maybe just been a notch below that. But it's just if you look at her kind of her history, it's a flat line.
Yeah,
like she's not really. I wouldn't say she's tremendously worse than she was at any point, but she's not better than she was at any point. She's just been very kind of mediocre the entire time, which is sad because like we said a minute ago, I mean, her debut was really good. She's got the background. If she really wanted to put the work in, I think she could have progressed and gotten to be pretty good,
100%.
But yeah, I mean, she, like I said before, she doesn't really seem to care about wrestling. I think wrestling was I don't know. It was money. I think was a factor in that. Her UFC days, I know the last, I think UFC or one of the last UFC fights she had when she lost, she had a complete, breakdown.
Yeah. She lost the title, and she had a complete breakdown, many excuses, and I think WWE gave her, or Vince, or whoever, gave her an opportunity, and she just took it and ran with it.
Yeah, I mean, for many reasons. I think one, being the money, two, being, the fact that it is scripted. So when you lose, even though she still doesn't take that very well, the loss doesn't mean, as much. I don't think it's as big of a blow to the ego.
Right.
So, and, you're not, if things go according to plan, you're not having to actually get kicked and punched in the face, So.
Unless it's a botch.
Yeah.
I know Jericho doesn't like that word botch. I guess mistake.
Yeah, I don't know if that would. I mean, does that make him feel better when you just call it something else?
I don't know. It's something that happened that wasn't supposed to happen. But
I I don't fully understand his gripe. I don't know if it's. I assume it's having fans, people who are on the outside of the business, using business terms, because botch is a business term. The wrestling business, you talk about shoots and kayfabe and works and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if that's maybe his gripe.
That's one of the words I use on the regular, though. If I make a mistake, I say I botched that one up.
Yeah. I mean, likewise, heel is not really exclusively like an wrestling industry term.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really understand that, especially in 2022 when like the internet and like, I mean, the curtain call was a long time ago. Like we all know we're all on the inside now.
They're already coming up with new terms and stuff. I don't exactly know what Riz means, so.
I haven't heard that one.
RIZZ. I don't exactly know what Riz is or means, but it's blowing up on the internet right now. So that, and it's like with Zoolander. So I guess it's a stare or a way someone looks.
Yeah, I don't know. You got me, man. I'll let you know when I come across that one.
Yeah, I have no idea. The internet's weird.
Oh yeah,
Some weird people.
Yep, internet is a weird place, and I haven't even probably scratched the surface on how weird it can truly get. I'm scared to.
I've seen probably a fraction of weirdness on the internet.
Oh, I've seen some weird stuff. It's I know better than many how weird it can be, but like I said, there's a whole extra level of weird that I just am scared to tread. Anyway,
we got off topic.
Again.
Yeah, we got way off topic. We were on Raw.
Yeah, made it to one match.
Yep. So we had the OC defeat Alpha Academy, which is Anderson and Gallows versus Otis and Gable. I'm not a big fan of Otis and Gable losing all the dang time.
Yeah, I mean that's unfortunate because I think they are better than that, deserve better than that.
Otis was actually one of my favorites during the 2021 and whole era during then.
No, he was the Shawn Michaels of Heavy Machinery.
Yeah,
I can't even tell you who the other guy.
Tucker.
Who?
Otis and Tucker.
I don't know who that guy is.
Otis Dojovic and Tucker Knight.
Yeah, well, Tucker was the Jannetty. What's he doing these days?
I have no idea.
Exactly. I didn't expect Otis to really stick around as long as he has, though. So I'm pretty happy for the guy for that.
It doesn't look like he's doing much wrestling, so. I mean, both guys, right before WWE got out of like college or like actual wrestling, like freestyle and faux style.
Yeah.
So they were both actual wrestlers in like college and maybe professionally. So.
No, wasn't Otis like just now learning how to read? Is that? I'm not like making a joke or being mean or anything, but I really think that I just saw something about him like just learning how to read. He's dyslexic or something.
I don't know how true that is.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It seemed pretty true when I read about it.
I don't know. Dang, he's my height. He's 5'10". So is he a little people?
He's a big little people.
He's 330 pounds.
Ooh.
Think about getting flattened by that every week.
Yeah, so Otis just posted that he has read his first book from front to back.
Yeah, he has struggled with dyslexia since elementary school.
Yeah, so it's I don't think it's that he just straight up couldn't read, but that he just had trouble reading.
Right.
So I mean, you know, good for him. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that is good. I do have to say though, I don't like Alpha Academy Otis. I liked Heavy Machinery. Ooh yeah, Otis.
I like them both.
But this one, it just seems like he's the loser now. So
Well, I mean, that's because he loses all the time. So
I don't think he should fit the loser gimmick though.
no,
I get it, he's fat,
neither should Gable. You know.
No, both men are talented, either on the mic or with the crowd, or even in the ring.
Oh, especially in the ring.
Yeah. And then one thing that kind of got me a little pissed off was later on in Raw that night was the match between Sami Zayn and AJ Styles.
Got a little choked up.
You say you dying over there?
Ooh, went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah, no, so this match, the outcome kind of pissed me off as a fan.
So AJ and who?
AJ and Sami Zayn.
Okay.
So
I mean, that should have been a banger.
it was. It's just it's Sami Zayn. He's talented, I get it, but his whole character is trying to be like to prove himself and everything. But look at it this way. Look at it's AJ Styles.
Right.
Sami Zayn defeats AJ Styles.
That shouldn't happen.
No. It's the same as Dominic Mysterio beats AJ Styles.
I don't know if it's the same.
But it shouldn't happen.
Still shouldn't happen. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Sami Zayn wouldn't have been hurt by that loss.
I mean, come on. AJ Styles is a Grand Slam champion. And he's been in WWE for like 6 years.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. If Sami had lost that match, we wouldn't be talking about it. We wouldn't be surprised, you know. Whereas having AJ lose, that's a WTF moment.
Yeah, and I get it. Solo Sikoa got involved, and the Usos and all of them got involved for Zayn to win.
So it wasn't a clean loss.
It wasn't a clean loss.
That's good.
But also the fact that Zayn put him away with a blue thunder bomb and not the haluva kick.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that makes me a little pissed off, is because the blue thunder bomb, in my eyes, is more of his signature move instead of a finisher move. It's like a big time move before you hit that finish.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do that.
I mean, you know, that I think that maybe should be the other way around. I think the Blue Thunder Bomb should be his finish.
I don't like the blue thunder bomb.
Just in terms of like, what's the more damaging, devastating move? I would think a blue thunder bomb would probably be a better finish than just a kick. Even though it's a hell of a kick or a haluva kick.
I just like, it's like Shawn Michaels' super kick. People do super kicks all the time. But
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels makes that super kick impressive.
I guess.
Sami Zayn's haluva kick is just the opponent in the corner and it's a running boot to the face in the corner. People can do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's not a special move. It's the way that you hype it up. It's Sami's energy that makes it the finishing move. And the Blue Thunder Bomb is a slamming move, which is a good finishing move. But it doesn't get you hyped up. There's no hype to it. It's just an out-of-nowhere move, which sometimes that works, like Randy Orton's RKO. Sometimes it's out of nowhere. Sometimes he revs it up.
Right.
I don't know. I just like the haluva kick more than the Blue Thunder Bomb.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, we had Sami Zayn beating AJ Styles. And then, a lot happened. I forgot this happened on Raw. We had The Miz versus Dexter Lumis in a winner-takes-all ladder match for all the marbles. The moolah. And with the help of a returning/debuting Bronson Reed, The Miz picked up the victory.
Remind me who Bronson Reed? Who's that?
Bronson Reed is
Jonah?
Jonah.
Okay, yeah.
So he was known by Jonah in New Japan and Ring of Honor.
Impact.
And Impact.
Yeah, it's I don't know anything about that match. I don't really know much about the Dexter Lumis Miz stuff. I haven't seen a whole lot of it. I do know, again, as like we touched on before with Dragon Lee signing to WWE, Jonah was treated pretty well in New Japan. He beat somebody that was like huge. Was it Okada? Maybe, or am I
Maybe Okada. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jonah beat Okada. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, and that's pretty huge, to have a win over Kazuchika Okada under your belt. I mean, that's way higher up there than what Impact had him. So yeah, him leaving New Japan and going to WWE, a lot of people were upset about that and didn't really understand why, if you're Jonah, why you would do that. And I think again, it probably for him, I don't know, but I would assume for him, WWE is probably a childhood dream.
Yeah.
And
because it's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon made things hell for most new talent and some existing talent, and one of the people that had to do with Jonah or Bronson Reed being booted, because right after his North American title loss, he was booted.
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere for no reason. I was about to say, I think hopefully with Triple H being at the helm now, that he'll be treated better this go around. I don't know. I mean, he's associated with Miz. He's kind of Miz's lackey at this point, maybe.
I think they said that he just helped the Miz, wanted him to help, and gave him a little bit of the cut of the money. And Bronson is just on his own thing.
But well, hopefully, they don't put him as like some lower mid card lackey, strong guy for Miz or something like that. Hopefully they do more with him, because like I said, I mean, having a win over Okada and Jonah's talented. He's a big guy. He's fat.
He's fat. Exactly.
Right. But he's a good monster. I think they could bump him up. Have him work some bigger matches than just kind of hang around with the Miz.
Yeah, like, what's a good match I want to see him in? I want to see Bronson Reed versus Gunther. It
Oh, that
doesn't
would
have
be
to be
good.
for the title,
Yeah.
but I want to
I
see
mean,
that match.
with the right handling, if they handle him right, I mean, there's no reason why we couldn't see, Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed versus Lashley or somebody like that, and it actually be a contentious meeting.
Like, maybe not a Royal Rumble win, but more of a challenging the champion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would like to see WWE really kind of spread out the love and build up more of their roster to be like believable threats, rather than just focusing on the handful of guys or maybe even just the one or two guys like they normally do. I know they definitely worked themselves into a tight spot with Roman Reigns for a while there. It did get to a point where he's beaten everybody on the roster. They made him so overpowered that you really just, I don't know. It's hard to get interested in a match when you know that Roman Reigns is going to win. Like, there's no chance that whoever he's stepping in the ring with is going to beat him. And they even got to that point with Brock Lesnar, where it's, I mean, what, Roman Reigns has beat Lesnar three different times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, even if Brock Lesnar, the guy who ended the Undertaker's streak, the beast incarnate, like if he can't take down Roman Reigns, who can?
Yeah.
So people talk about Cody. I even have a hard time, at this point, believing Cody could defeat Reigns. I think one of the few people that they have who is believable is Rollins, and I kind of think with the history between those two, I think Rollins should be the one to dethrone Reigns. I don't think it should be Cody. And I think, having Rollins dethrone Reigns and then move into a program afterwards with Cody would be the way to go.
Yeah. I just think that, well, I wanted to bring something up too. It's a little fun fact. The Royal Rumble of 2022, we had Rollins versus Reigns for the Universal title, right?
Sure.
So we had that happen. Rollins didn't win. Rollins won, but he didn't win the title because he won by disqualification.
Right.
I think that should orient like a rematch later on down the line, right?
Yeah.
So if they do have Rollins take the title away from Reigns, I think I'd like that to happen either, even if it could be possible, at the Royal Rumble, at Elimination Chamber, like right before Mania.
Yeah. I personally, I would go with Royal Rumble. Have Rollins win, and I would give Reigns his rematch for WrestleMania. And I would have Rollins win again. And I think there's a few different ways you can play that. For one, Rollins is known as the architect, so part of what makes Rollins a threat is not necessarily his size or even his wrestling ability; it's his mind. So I think you can kind of play that angle and have him maybe get that first win by being smart and cunning and devising some sort of plot. That second win at Mania, I would have it be some sort of bloodline disintegration that cost Reigns that title for a second time. And then moving on from WrestleMania, you can further kind of explore that bloodline disintegration with Reigns maybe dealing with that and kind of dismantling the group and I don't know, working that while you move into a program with Rollins and Cody.
Yeah.
So that would be what I would do and what I would like to see. That would get me interested. Even more so. And, I think Cody should get the title at some point. I think that injury has set him back, on that timeline.
Yeah, I think it's well deserved.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, the moment too, I mean, if you're a long-term wrestling fan, just knowing the history of the Rhodes family and Dusty and even Dustin, just kind of how they've both been treated in their careers, and Dusty Rhodes being definitely one of the all-time greats who never got to hold that championship. I think the moment would be pretty awesome for Cody.
Yeah, I think a lot of people it's going to be a scream or laugh out loud or just like awesome moment whenever that time comes.
Yeah.
Because it's going to come. It's not like we're just teasing you with it. It's going to happen.
I think so. I think Cody was in such a position negotiating his return. I would be amazed if he did not have that actually in his contract, to where, at some point in the not too distant future, you put the title on me. Like that has to happen in order for me to sign. So I'd be surprised if that wasn't in his contract.
Yeah. Let's see. We were at Reed and Raw. Speaking of Rollins, we had Rollins and Owens team up on Raw to face the Usos in the main event. We also had your boy Austin Theory intervene a little bit during the middle of it, hitting Rollins with the United States Championship. Although that did not phase Kevin Owens, hitting, I believe, hitting Jey Uso with Jey Uso with a pop-up powerbomb to finish out the match.
Nice.
So that was Raw of 2 weeks ago. Man, we had missed so much. We can move on to NXT. We had Carmelo Hayes versus Axiom. Axiom gives us the loss to Carmelo Hayes. I do like this purple and gold attire for Axiom, though.
Yes, I don't think I missed that. I think I maybe only caught one episode of NXT. Was that 2 weeks ago?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I might have missed that one and just watched last week.
And then we had Zoe Stark versus Nikita Lyons. Zoe Stark beating Lyons. That rivalry keeps brewing. We had the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship Triple Threat match happen between the champions Kaden Carter and Katana Chase versus Toxic Attraction and Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. The champions walked away retaining.
Okay.
We had also former Legado del Fantasma member Elektra Lopez defeat Indy Hartwell in a one-on-one match. It looked like, though, that Hartwell had some brass knuckles and was going to use some evil tactics against Elektra Lopez.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him.
With Indy Hartwell?
Right.
The love story between her and Dexter Lumis?
Okay. I've seen her once.
Then we had in the main event the New Day versus Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen with NXT Tag Team titles, and the New Day retained.
Of course. Is that the Good Old Boys?
That's the Brooks Jensen. Yeah, I guess.
Hey, I mean that's not an official. That's just how I know them. I don't know their names, but they're the country dudes with the girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually have seen Brooks Jensen before WWE, and in a little high school gym show.
Yeah.
As Ben Buchanan. So I've seen him before. He's really good.
Yeah, I don't think I've caught them actually wrestle. I think most of what I've caught from them has been like storyline stuff with the whole the girls being the main focus. The girl that was trying to take the bar, the family bar.
Yeah.
I did see her wrestle, not to jump around too much, but the girl that's with them, what's her name?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on it too.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was on last week's. It was my first time seeing her wrestle, and she did pretty good.
I'm trying to just get through lightning rounds of the news.
Yeah.
Oh, my neck.
We'll get there. It's Fallon Henley.
Okay.
Yeah, she seems like she's got some potential.
Yeah. I mean, I've only seen her cut promos with them. I haven't really seen her wrestle, but yeah.
Yeah, last week she wrestled the girl that she's fighting over the bar with, the legal chick. I can't remember her name either. It's Kiana James.
Still drawing a blank.
Yeah, she wears the glasses and she carries a briefcase. She was the girl that had paid the back taxes on Henley's bar, and was trying to take the family bar. So they had a match last week for the bar, and Henley won, so she gets to keep her bar.
Oh.
Yeah. They both of those girls seem like they have talent and potential. Kiana James, I'm not really crazy about the gimmick that she has. It's kind of a female IRS almost. Yeah, not crazy about that.
Yeah. Let's see. We had on SmackDown, December 23rd, the Christmas edition of SmackDown, Usos versus Hit Row for the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles. Yeah, after a performance Hit Row made, I don't think it would have been any good idea to give them the titles. So, of course, they lost.
Yeah. I don't really see a lot of. You talk about Alpha Academy being jobbers essentially. That's a role that I think should be reserved for people like Hit Row. I don't really see much there, man. Now, granted, I haven't seen very many of their matches, but what I have seen is just nothing special, man. Nothing special.
I don't see much potential for Top Dollar. I do for the other two, though. The other two have in-ring potential and mic potential. Top Dollar doesn't. And I think right now they're turning heel off of the botch.
Yeah.
Because on this latest episode that happened this last Friday, everyone in the locker was making fun of him. And then Ricochet said something about it, and that just set him off. And so they're having a match this week for a Royal Rumble qualifying, so that whoever wins will be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I did see that announcement that match was going down, which seems kind of weird. You know, it's a Royal Rumble. You've got like 30 spots. It's like, oh, we're gonna have a qualifier match, and I think it's just a way to basically kind of write Top Dollar all out of the Royal Rumble, because you know Ricochet is gonna win that.
Yeah, I figured that one.
Right. Doesn't take a Lanny Poffo to know that.
It doesn't take a genius to know that one of the biggest botches that has happened in the God, I still see some of it on the internet. I still see like people putting audio next to it or like words next to it, and then just whop.
Well, I'm glad that you got my reference and you know who Lanny Poffo is. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You did get that, right? Genius. That wasn't just a random coincidence.
I'm definitely not looking up right now.
So yeah, Lanny Poffo was the genius.
The world's smartest man.
That's what I said. It doesn't take a Lanny Poffo to know that.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
It doesn't take a genius.
Is he with Macho Man?
It's brother.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Hell no, I didn't.
Well, there we go, man. You can we learned you something. So I could have said it doesn't take a Dean Douglas to know that.
I would have known that.
You a little bit more familiar with that reference?
Yeah, I'm a little bit more familiar with that one.
Well, yeah, we learned you something. Oh, Lanny Poffo, the genius.
Not know that.
And you can use that, by the way. You can throw that into your lingo and be the cool guy and make that reference with all your buddies.
I'm never the cool guy.
I mean, especially if you're name dropping Lanny Poffo in conversation.
If I get into a conversation with a 50-year-old and I drop Lanny Poffo, they're gonna be like, "Hey, yeah, this man knows what he's talking about."
Yeah, 40, not a 50-year-old, but
fair enough.
Same thing to you.
My dad's close enough. I mean, he's got more grays in his beard than, well, turning white. Actually, we said this year that he's Santa in training. Yeah,
I can see that. Hey, there's good money in the Santa Claus business, man.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, I might have found him a third job or a fourth job.
I don't think that goes well with Santa Claus having little kids on their lap. Pastor has kids on lap. Ask them what they want for Christmas.
Yeah, I could see that being weaponized. But
yeah,
being a Santa pastor could be pretty cool, though. I don't know how that would go over.
I don't think it would go over well. I think it would be weaponized pretty quick.
Yeah. What isn't these days?
I know. We also had a 6-woman gauntlet match happen between Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Xylee, Tegan Knox, and Emma. So it was really a 7-person. But the winner of it was Raquel Rodriguez, which had an injured arm.
Yeah. P-break.
P-break. Who?
Is that a bathroom break? Did you actually watch the match?
No. Oh, yeah, no. I didn't actually watch that match. I did, however, watch the Rey Mysterio versus Angel Garza match, which was okay.
Yeah, I mean, Rey Mysterio's great, but nothing he's done in this recent run has really excited me. It's
his return at the Royal Rumble, just Rey Mysterio returning. It's like John Cena returning once every year, like Rey Mysterio returning once every year. It's going to get the crowd big and excited.
Yeah, it's a cool moment. But yeah, he's not really wrestling his best matches.
Oh no,
he's just collecting a paycheck.
Yeah. The man's quite old.
Yeah, he's up there.
Well, old for wrestling. He's 48.
Yeah.
And he debuted when he was like, what? Like Dominic's age almost?
Yeah, he's pretty young.
Like 20?
I guess to that point though, like, you know, in 2022, I enjoyed Ric Flair's wrestling match more than I enjoyed any of Rey Mysterio's wrestling matches. So I don't know what that means for either of them, but you know.
Okay, Rey Mysterio's been wrestling for 26 years.
Yeah, so he was what, 20, 21?
He was 22.
Okay.
So, yeah, pretty young for wrestling. Not Austin Theory young, but pretty young.
Too lazy to actually do the math in my head.
Well, it's a good thing you got a young person that really does like math.
Yeah, well, you know, I've only got so much brain power. I've got to be careful what I use it on.
You gotta save it all up for later sometimes.
Yeah, save it all up for the Lanny Poffo and Dean Douglas references.
Yeah. Not much. There was one last match. It was Braun and Ricochet versus Imperium in a Miracle on 34th Street fight.
What does that even mean?
Miracle on 34th Street?
Yeah.
Hold on. I think
I know it's a reference to a movie, but
yeah.
What are the what are the rules of that match?
Oh, it's basically a no disqualification, no count out match. Just like there's a whole lot of Christmas decorations and presents and boxes all over the place and tables and just no DQ, use weapons along ringside tag team match.
Yeah. So Braun Strowman teaming with a flippy flopper.
Yeah.
Did Braun bust out a moonsault?
You know what? I didn't see one, but I very much want to pay. I'd very much like to be there in person if Braun was to ever do that.
Well, there's, you know, after that controversy with that tweet, he posted a video of him doing a backflip or something crazy, like at a gym. So yeah, I would have. I mean, I would have loved, you know, if Braun would have busted out a moonsault or something crazy like that during that match. Man, that would have been. I mean, that would have been up there. You know,
if he did, I would have been like, "What in the WWE 2K22 is this?"
that would have been a moment, man. but you know, it probably would have went about like Brock Lesnar doing a moonsault and breaking his neck.
I mean, he did a shooting star.
Shooting star, whatever. Brain power, man. Brain power.
Don't worry, I'm here. I remember. I remember.
Been eating your member berries.
It was at WrestleMania against Kurt Angle
Yeah, I knew it was Kurt Angle, but
for the world title. They wanted to finish off the shooting star, but they couldn't because it was botched, and so they had to give him up for an F5. And he was mildly concussed.
yeah. You're lucky he wasn't paralyzed.
I know. Imagine seeing modern day Brock hit a shooting star press.
Oh man, would have been something for the ages.
Just he hits a shooting star at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns.
That would have been amazing.
That probably would have been contested for like moment or match of the year. Just that moment alone, if it were to have happened.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Brock Lesnar and I after that botch and making the kind of money he's been making, there's no way I would even risk, attempting something like that again.
Yeah. Moving on to last week, we had no Raw because it was all highlights, but we did hear from Cody Rhodes saying that he will be returning soon.
Yep.
So there was that.
You think it'll be at the Rumble?
I most definitely think it'll be at the Rumble.
Yeah, I think so too. It's been the rumor that's been going around for months now. So
I say he enters in at number 21 to 23.
Yeah.
It'd be very bold to say he enters in at number 1 or 2.
I would probably I would guess maybe in the early teens. I'd go with a 12 or 13. I don't know, man. Maybe even a 7 or 8 spot. I wouldn't.
A super surprise entrant. It's usually early or late.
Yeah, that's why I say I would even go with like a 7 or 8 spot. Because it's not right off the bat. It gives you that enough time for there to be kind of a little bit of a lull, surprise. But it also makes him look really good if he comes in early and makes it to one of the last maybe Final 4.
If they want him to win the Rumble, I'd say bring him in as number 2.
Yeah.
But if he's just to come in and make that return, early before 10s or late as far as 21 to 25.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts on that. If he's to win, number 2.
I think
that entrance.
I think he'll at least do well. I don't know if he's going to win, but he'll probably be in the Rumble for the duration of the Rumble.
Yeah, I think that Rick Boogs might return for the Rumble. I think he'll be medically cleared, and Big E. I think Big E might be at the Rumble. If not the Rumble, then in NXT.
Yeah.
Let's see. Speaking of NXT, December 27th, NXT, we had starting off a really awesome match between Julius Creed and JD McDonough.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. That was my first time seeing the Creed guy wrestle.
Yeah, the Creed brothers are really good. They're very technical, and I think they should stay in NXT just because the main rosters are filled with a lot of tag teams right now that don't get a lot of love. But in NXT, I think they get just a good amount of love.
Yeah, I enjoyed that match. It was a good match.
And so Creed beating McDonough, and then later on, Veer and Sangha coming out and accepting the Creed brothers match at New Year's Evil, which will happen, I believe, next week or the week after. I think it'd be next week. I think it's this Saturday or Sunday. This next Saturday.
would definitely make more sense for it to be this weekend.
It would have been more sense to make it today. New Year's Evil, January 1st.
Yeah, of course that would have made the most sense, but it is WWE. You can't make too much sense.
Yeah. Then we had Wendy Chu versus Cora Jade for, I believe, a NXT Women's #1 contendership shot. And Wendy Chu gained the win over Cora Jade.
Surprisingly, I was surprised that was the outcome.
I was going to say, it'd be made more sense for Cora Jade to beat Wendy Chu and to go against her ex-best friend and have that rivalry going, but I kind of like the Wendy Chu decision too.
Yeah, I wasn't mad at it. I don't know. I don't think it hurts Cora Jade too much.
No. After that, we had a decent match between Scripps and Akeem Jiro.
Yeah, it was decent.
Scripps we're still a little on the fence about the attire, the name change, the gimmick entirely. The man's athletic.
I would like to, I was thinking about his attire when I was watching that match. I would like to see him wear. I wish the mask were maybe fully enclosed. I think the hair kind of sticking out is a little weird, throwing me off. But I think pants would help him instead of the shorts. Yeah. I think those two things right there would be a vast improvement on this look.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a decent match. I didn't understand why he gave the jacket back, because Jiro was gonna beat up Scripps and take his jacket back, and Scripps ended up winning and gave him his jacket back anyway.
Yeah,
kind of an odd choice, but yeah, it was a fine match, man. Nothing special, but not bad.
Yeah. And you talk about the whole mask and the hair sticking out. I do want to point out, hair sticking out of the mask works for some people, and I see what you mean for Scripps.
Yeah, he had some tassel stuff at first that they removed.
Which, thank God, because it looks stupid.
Right. Definitely an improvement, but his hair style, still kind of has the same effect of the tassels.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I think like I said, I think those two things, man, closing that mask up at the top and putting him in some pants would have really improved his look.
It kind of reminds me of Killshot from Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Swerve's altered character from Lucha Underground.
Yep.
Where it's just the dreads outside. So.
Yeah.
Moving on, we had my pee break, the Lyra Valkyrie versus Lash Legend.
Oh yeah, total snooze fest.
And I just don't with that. I don't know anything that happened in that match other than Valkyrie getting the win. Whatever. Yeah. I did, however, watch Schism, Joe Gacy, and Fallon and Ripper. No, Jagger. Sorry.
Yeah, that was my first time watching those guys wrestle. It was a pretty decent match. I don't understand. There's a few things about Schism that I noticed. Just thoughts in watching that. I'm fairly new to Schism. I've seen several promos, but that was my first time watching them, do their thing in the ring. Two things I don't like that I think some changes would really benefit them. Their entrance music, the theme music that they have.
I get that too. I liked it when it was just Joe Gacy by himself with it.
It doesn't work for the faction.
No, because they have this whole dark tone, and then you have this uplifting, cheerful music. It worked for Bray Wyatt, but then after that cheerful music was dark, devoting, remix of, Fireflies.
Yeah, the music is a problem for me. I think they need a music change. I also don't understand this. The hand sign that they all do, which is essentially a peace sign.
Yeah.
Many different reasons. I mean, for one, I think it's pretty hard to do this and look like intimidating or scary, and maybe it's.
I think it's more of a cult thing. You're going for the cult feel.
It's still weird, I mean, it's a peace sign for one, so you've got this intimidating cult who is just dominating and beating people up at random, and just we're supposed to be scary but peace.
Yeah, I mean, for me it works.
I don't know. I don't know how much anime you watch, but it just it makes me think of anime girls. Just it's I don't know. It's I don't know, it's weird, man. I'm not,
It's like the Dark Order. They have this dark past and everything, and they have all this stuff like the Dark Order sign and them killing certain people and them just being evil guys, but their intentions are good.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Dark
Order, like if you're tired of being a loser, join the Dark Order.
Yeah. Dark Order hand sign works for me. I mean,
I like the Dark Order. Like that hand sign, I used to do that sometimes.
Yeah. There's so many hand signs though. You've got the Bloodline that does just the one.
Yeah, that works.
That works. Of course, NWO Too Sweet. Even Wolfpack, NWO. Yeah, I don't know. Yes, Sierra Mirido. What is it? Jeff Hardy does.
Yeah, that was Jeff Hardy.
The shocker, man. If you don't, that's the 2 in the pink and 1 in the stink. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you could change that to. Did I break you?
Man, we're gonna get demonetized. You can't just say that.
Well, I mean, I could have, and no one would have thought anything about it. But now that you've brought attention to it, everyone's gonna Google it, and yeah, we're gonna get in trouble.
Oh.
I mean, do you not find that interesting that Jeff Hardy's on WWE TV like throwing up the shocker?
2 in the hootie, 1 in the blowfish.
I didn't even think about it like that, dude.
I mean, I'm sorry.
I'm not dirty-minded.
I mean, I like to think that I'm not either, but I'm also a 90s baby, so.
Sure. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Hand signals, yeah. I get the peace sign's a little weird, but I like it. I like it with their whole cult thing. So.
Oh, fair enough.
Match after that was Fallon Henley versus Keon James, battle for the bar, like you talked about earlier.
Yeah, decent match. They both impressed.
And then the main event was Wes Lee versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT North American Championship.
Yeah, that was decent.
John. Oh. I liked it. I liked the match. Wesley, even after Nash Carter being gone and him being a single star, he's been a breakout single star.
Which Nash Carter, speaking of hand signs. Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah. So we have Wesley defeat Tony D'Angelo, which D'Angelo is actually another one of my favorites that are on NXT right now. The Dawn of NXT. Kind of like a king of the ring. He's the Don, like the Italian mob boss.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that was the first match I've seen him wrestle.
He's pretty good, and his counterpart Stacks.
Yeah, I've seen some storyline stuff with them, but that was my first time, seeing him wrestle. It was all right.
So that's all for NXT, and now we get to SmackDown. What happened Friday? It's a good thing we're starting, and it's a good thing we've gone there, because we have the Bray Wyatt LA Knight feud that's going on, and we finally get Uncle Howdy getting physical.
Yeah. AKA Bo Dallas.
Yeah. I mean, for him to hit the Sister Abigail and do all these moves, they adjusted the mask a little bit and made it half a mask. We could see his face and his beard.
Yeah.
That is a Bo Dallas goatee if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dyeing, the dyed hair is not... I still see people online, like, debating who Uncle Howdy is, and I find that to be pretty amazing. Like, at this point, I would bet everything I own that was Bo Dallas under that mask.
I'm like, guys, same height... Hair looks like it's parted the same way and folds the same way.
Same facial hair.
Facial hair seems similar. Even that, like, below the lip hair connecting to the same.
You call that a soul patch. That's what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's just a little longer. And even the height is the same as Bray. And he's a little bit skinnier than Bray, yeah.
Yeah, that's Bo Dallas, man.
That's Bo Dallas.
Dyed his hair. He's wearing some contacts, wearing a mask, but that's Bo Dallas.
All day long. And he can sound just like his brother too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, cool little moment. Sister Abigail from Uncle Howdy to Bray Wyatt.
LA Knight freaking out like, okay, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, which I
just wanted to get revenge. You know what? I'm out of here. We'll have this match, but that's it.
Yeah.
He got a little too big for his britches. After that, we had the match between Solo Sikoa and Sheamus.
Yeah, how was that?
Solo Sikoa coming out with the win over Sheamus, having a really good match. I do like how Solo Sikoa's being more like Umaga.
Yeah.
Like that ruthlessness and that more Samoan style, even bringing back the Samoan spike.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moves. Favorite finishing moves. It's nothing too flashy. It's just the impact of a Samoan spike, the thumb being jammed into the head.
Yep.
It's like a KO punch, but just, it's just different.
Yeah, I didn't watch that, but I read about that one.
And afterwards, the Usos ganged up on Sheamus and the Brutes, and then all of a sudden McIntyre's music hits and he comes down to the ring and clears house.
Cool.
After that, we had Rousey versus Raquel Rodriguez for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This is where things got messy.
Yeah. In a good way.
Was great.
I wouldn't imagine it would be.
Because It was a very short match. It was like, I don't know, less than 10 minutes. It was probably like 5 minutes, right? That was my pee break. And that pee turned into something else. And when I came back, all I see is, and new SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. I'm like, what? When did this happen? And so apparently Charlotte Flair made her return onto SmackDown to challenge the champion. And even though Baszler was reluctant to it, Ronda put the towel on the line. Flair hit her with a spear into an armbar into a roll-up, having Flair become a 17-time Women's World Champion.
Yep.
So we're back to this old habit.
Yeah, I mean, my only real gripe with Charlotte is her number of title reigns. Just at this point, she's already, been a champion more times than Ric Flair. Many other people. And she's still got. I mean, we're still going to be watching Charlotte wrestle for years, man. So, like, what is that number going to look like when she retires? Are we talking,
Are we talking 30?
Yeah, up into the 30s. I mean, that's my only. I think they've ended up kind of putting the strap on her too many times. So I think now this is 14.
She hasn't beat it yet. Okay, so 14 times.
Yeah. I would be much happier if she was in that like 9 to 10 time range at this point.
With a long reign, like above 200 days each reign. Maybe one is a day long for a Money in the Bank cash in. Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about, preferring long title reigns over quantity. It's quality, not quantity.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had that happen, and then the final match of the night was the biggest main event of SmackDown, and to end out the year, a returning John Cena teaming up with Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn and the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. And that was a pretty good match.
Yeah, I mean it should be. You got the greatest wrestler of all time, John Cena, involved.
Mr. Hollywood.
Yeah, and I'm only half being facetious. John Cena is really good, man. I know people like to crap on him, but he's a good wrestler.
I remember SummerSlam of last year. I was so desperate for Reigns to lose the title that me and my dad both don't like John Cena.
Yeah.
Like, just because of the whole fun thing. I guess he's a cool guy. We just get tired of the gimmick. We get tired of him.
Oh, yeah.
I was decked out.
Definitely not a John Cena fan.
Yeah.
But, the guy can wrestle. So.
Yeah. I was decked out in full John Cena gear, ready for him to beat Roman Reigns. And my dad came in. And he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Look, man, I'm desperate. Maybe this will give him something good. Maybe this will change the minds of Vince. Maybe they'll just put the title on him." Because I was tired of Roman's reign.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yep.
But as seeing how it's gone on and how it's going so far and how it could lead up to, either Sammy dethroning him, Jay dethroning him, Cody dethroning him, Seth dethroning him, I'm like, you know what? Maybe this was best.
I mean, WWE definitely put all their eggs in that basket, like I mentioned before. So, I mean, it at a point, you didn't really have anybody else other than Reigns to go with,
Yeah. But just as Roman Reigns began the year at the Royal Rumble, he ended the year with a loss. So Roman Reigns began 2022 with a loss at the Royal Rumble via disqualification. And Roman Reigns was even pinned, and he lost on Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah. No, had a double 5-knuckle shuffle.
Double 5-knuckle shuffle, AA. Then the Kevin Owens hit a stunner on to Sami Zayn, ending up with a pinfall victory.
Yeah.
Yep. And finally, an hour and 15 minutes in, we are done with the news.
Yeah, and it's all WWE for real. Wasn't really a whole lot going on anywhere else.
Yeah, we did a little bit AEW. So
Yeah, a little bit. I did watch an episode of NWA Christmas special, and it was a stinky turd, man. Nothing remotely memorable, nothing of note, nobody impressed. It was just, why did I waste my time?
Well, that's about an hour and a half I won't ever get back in my life.
Yep. So yeah, just to throw that in there. I don't know. I'm probably gonna have to bail on NWA for a little while, and just catch some highlights. I'm not gonna be committing to a show anytime soon. We had I guess the Pro Wrestling Noah event going on today or yesterday, or
I think it was
middle of the night.
Yeah, where we had finally the Shinsuke Nakamura Muta match.
Yeah, and I plan on watching that. So next week we can maybe talk about that show.
Yeah.
So I might kind of shift my focus a little bit from NWA and Impact for a little while over to the Japan stuff.
Yeah.
Because we have Wrestle Kingdom in 3 days.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Kairi Sane, there's the rumor, about which I guess is not really fully a rumor, but Sasha Banks is going to be at Wrestle Kingdom. We just don't know really anything about it, if she's going to be wrestling or if she's. I halfway expect her to not wrestle at Wrestle Kingdom and just be there. Because I haven't seen anything definitive about her actually wrestling.
I kind of want a WWE crossover, like something about them invading New Japan.
It would be dope, man. We've talked about that before with the Carl Anderson situation that went down, and Nakamura wrestling for Muta, or wrestling with Muta over in Pro Wrestling Noah. WWE name dropping Bullet Club, name dropping Ring of Honor on their programming. It seems a lot more possible today than it was a year or two ago. But we also have the New Japan still in a working relationship with AEW and Impact. So I don't know how that might affect WWE's willingness to also work with New Japan. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I definitely plan on watching Wrestle Kingdom if I can find the time to squeeze it in.
Yeah, I will definitely pop in and watch a little bit of it. I just make the big money bucks, Big H, like just have them invade a little bit, like have some stir up, and then all of a sudden they're invading the Royal Rumble. They have a couple entrants that come in.
Yeah, I mean we're rumored to have Jay White show up at the Royal Rumble. That's a big rumor that's been going around for a while now. So yeah, I would be stoked to see something like that.
Yeah.
Not getting my hopes up though.
believe that's all we have for news. Would you like to talk about anything else?
Yeah, I mean, we're probably running a little low on time. Just gonna kind of do like a little bit of a review of some of the crazy things that went down earlier in the year, that we didn't, necessarily get to talk about because we weren't doing the podcast. But yeah, I mean, nothing too important. So, yeah, just crazy moments like the the all out brawl that took place. Cody jumping ship from AEW back to WWE. MJF walking out and sitting out for like 3 months, I believe, to kind of hold out for some more cash and better treatment from Khan. Yeah, Sasha Banks and Naomi dipping out on WWE. Yeah, I mean, a lot of Vince McMahon, getting ousted from WWE. It was a pretty crazy year, man. Lots of crazy stuff happened.
Well, we can only hope for an even better year with 2023.
Yeah, I think there's some promise, man. Some potential to be just as good and just as crazy.
Hopefully crazier.
Probably.
I mean, what are the chances that Triple H brings back, some luchadors? Or I'm looking at some of the WWE Lumini, and I'm like, man, I kind of miss these guys.
Oh yeah. I mean, we've, that's another thing. Triple H bringing back tons of formerly released talent. I think there's potential for more of that to go down in the next few months as well. I
miss the Authors of Pain.
Authors of Pain. I mean, I would even say Ascension. Ascension.
Even FDR, like the revival.
I mean, that's rumored. That FTR is heading back to WWE. I'd hate it for Impact, but losing Big Con. But yeah, I'd like to see Ascension come back. Authors of Pain. I mean, the tag team division in WWE is not that great right now. So I think if they just brought back those three teams and actually started focusing on the tag team division and booking it a little bit better with a little bit more focus and intent.
Or even some single stars that flopped off but could still come back, like TJP.
Yeah, he's I think he's in MLW right now.
And wasn't he like one half of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions?
Could be. I'm not sure on that.
Or even the rumored Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona showing up for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty amazed that WWE and AEW haven't snatched him up yet after the year that he's had.
He reinvented himself.
Yeah, and did it really well, man. Did it really well. That guy's money. Very similar, I think, story to Cody Rhodes. Cody and Zach, I think both have a similar background with WWE, being overlooked, underutilized, knowing that they're both more than what WWE was doing with them and giving them, heading out on their own, reinventing themselves, putting on some great matches, really, really upping their worth and their value. I think Cardona's I would assume probably one of the most valuable indie talents there are right now.
Yeah.
So be interesting to see what happens with him. Still amazed that NWA didn't make him the champ instead of old Brodus Clay. I think that was a missed opportunity.
I also think a lot of people have forgotten that Matt Cardona actually did show up in AEW.
Yeah, he just wrestled like a one-off.
Yeah, he wrestled one match as a tag team with Cody Rhodes against Dark Order.
Yeah, I remember that now that you bring it up, but I often forget that as well.
Heck, I even actually covered it in an episode on this channel, on the whole Fedora broadcast channel that we're doing the live on now. I talked about on a Let's Talk Wrestling with Ari during quarantine 2019 and 2020, not 2019, 2020. And that's one of the things that I talked about was Cardona in WWE. Of course, I was young. I still call him Ryder. And yeah, 2020.
Good riddance.
Yeah. That is a year that has changed a lot. Man. A lot of people.
Oh yeah. Change the world. Well, yeah. I guess that's about it. If you wrap it up here.
Yeah. Wrap it up. You want to say, what do y'all think about next week? What do you think we should do as a topic for next week?
Yeah.
I just watched Marvel's What If.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, I rewatched What If. I'm like, what if we did that with WWE or like wrestling or like anything in general? What if we changed things in like the timelines and made certain people champions, or people never showed up here, someone never died here? What would this be like? What would our fantasy booking be?
Yeah.
Like one thing I thought about earlier when I showed you that clip of Tajiri take on Evolution. What if Tajiri was a WWE champion?
Yeah.
Like not cruiserweight champion like he was, but like world champion.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's interesting stuff to play around with. I've always enjoyed the Marvel What If comic book series. I haven't watched the TV show, but they've been doing those comics for years. The What Ifs.
It's like these whole multiverse stuff and all that. I'm like, what if this happened? What would today be like? Would today even be today?
Yeah. Butterfly effect, man. You change one thing and a million things, change.
Yeah. I mean, think about if Eddie Guerrero never died the way he did.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio probably would have never got that love and tribute that he got at WrestleMania the same way.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, this whole Dominic storyline would probably go down a lot differently too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and if Guerrero, we're still alive, I mean, it stands to reason that there's a good chance Benoit would still be with us.
Yeah.
So.
Benoit and CM Punk.
Yeah.
All right, before we ever get into these little controversy things, I would like to say thank you all for watching. John, not acceptable. Thank you all for watching. This has been the Bad Brothers Babyface Breakdown, and Happy New Year, guys. It's 2023.
Yeah.
I'm Big Bubba Brogdon.
Yeah, I'm Bush Dingo, the Luchador. We'll see you next week.
See you next week with hopefully not as much controversial stuff or something like this. And I'll actually look into micro wrestling.
Yeah.
See if we can talk about some micro wrestling next week too.
Of course, man.
For now, thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you next week.